Hi guys, hope everyone's well and welcome back to the Improvement Podcast. So in this episode, I am going to touch on are you ready to compete, meaning compete in bodybuilding. So I have a lot of clients who have some aspirations on stepping on stage now, and it's a pleasure. We're working with people who have more advanced and extreme goals in that sense. However, it's good to think, are you ready to compete? Because competing in bodybuilding, it's a very demanding pursuit. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just a case of do you want to step on stage. It's a case of like thinking about if things like your diet, training, your financial cost, stress, life changes, all those things will impact if you are ready to compete or not. So this is what I'm going to cover in this episode. So a lot of people like the idea of competing, but they might not like what it actually takes. So the first thing we want to consider if we are thinking about stepping on stage uh, to pursue bodybuilding naturally or enhanced, but of course, I mainly this message is mainly aimed for folk who are natural. I just think that's more of my target audience with me coming from natural bodybuilding myself. And if someone was ever wanting to consider taking PEDs to step on stage in bodybuilding, I'd highly recommend they do it natural first because when people or not we as in I when people use performance enhancing drugs, you can mask a lot of mistakes you make just by taking stuff. So you can have a poor training setup, a poor training split, make a lot of mistakes in terms of building muscle, not recovering well. But just because you've got enhancements, you can kind of get away with it. So doing so without first makes you think, right, do I actually love the process? I am invested in it. Am I going to do this long term before harming your body and your overall health with enhancements? I'm not against it by any means, but it's something that people should consider very carefully. But that's kind of, we're off track already and we're only 2 minutes in. So, yeah, first of all, we want to think about, have you dieted before? So, and have you done quite an aggressive diet before? Have you got skin in the game first? Because if you've never actually ran a proper dieting phase, if you've never ran quite like an aggressive diet, then you'll probably be in for a big shock. So it's not just about like eating cleaner for a few weeks. It's not a case of like, oh, I'll just track my protein, track my calories. It's a different level of leanness you're going to get to if you're going to step on stage. A level of leanness where it takes a bit more minerals than performing a short diet or getting your body fat a bit lower for a summer holiday. It's a different level of leanness you're aiming for. And that different level of leanness doesn't come easy. There can be a lot of side effects and effects that can happen. Your food focus is extremely high. You'll be hungry after every meal potentially. You'll be you'll always be kind of focused on food. You'll be dragging your legs every step you take. You'll be speaking less because you've got no energy. I remember at the end of prep, like I was just sitting there and I was like with my partner and I was just thinking, I had something to say, but you're so tired, you just like, I'll just leave it. So there's a lot of side effects. There's a lot of fatigue that takes place when you diet quite aggressively and get into stage condition. So you want to make sure you've earned your stripes first. You want to make sure you perform a diet first instead of just going straight into the deep end and doing an aggressive diet. And then that means you'll be able to kind of tolerate what prep will bring. So make sure you've got skin in the game first, perform dieting phases beforehand, and don't just jump yourself in the deep end. And you that will also give you a good idea of like what your body fat will get to, how you'll respond to the diet, and also just know what it takes from a mental standpoint as well. Because like if you've never actually done a diet, got relatively lean, it's going to be very hard to judge your scale weight or judge how much time you need to prep for and construct a timeline, which is what I do for all of my clients, regardless if they're competing or if they've just got like a holiday they want to diet for. I give them that timeline, that plan of action. And can you handle prep when like life gets stressful? So like how mentally tough and resilient are you? So uh, prep isn't it's not gonna happen like a perfect bubble. It's not gonna be always smooth sailing. It's not always gonna be easy. There's gonna be interruptions. There's gonna be difficulties that will arise, and You need to be mentally tough enough to get through them. You need to have the skills and the fortitude to be able to still nail your variables when life gets busy, when you've got a ton to do, when you've got relationship stress, when you've got change in your routine. You need to be adaptable and resilient so you can do so throughout that time. And I'll touch on it at the end, but although what I might be talking about is a lot of negatives, prep is one of the most like amazing things I've ever done, and it's one of the most fulfilling things I've done. Like I'm getting excited kind of talking about it. And also, like, do you have good structure and routine? This will like go into place with like if you've earned your stripes before with dieting. You want to make sure like you need to nail your variables. It's not a time where you can be off your variables. It's not a time where you can be winging things like your steps. It's not a time where you can have your sleep wake time going all about the place. It needs to be accurate. You need to be dialed in with these things because high level goals require a high level of consistency. So have you got a high level of structure and routine built up and in place for months and months and months before even considering a prep, maybe even years before considering a prep? And also, like, have you trained long enough? So you want to have like I feel like criteria for like prepping in terms of your performance and experience in the gym is like a good amount of time just growing. So years spent gaining. I'd say like 3 to 5 years at a very minimum is a great place to be in terms of time spent training hard and productively, progressing your lifts week on week, and not like training as in like doing a few sessions, dropping off for a month, and then like training back, like training hard consistently, not missing a beat for a long period of time. Or have you done that for years on end? And have you got a good foundation level of strength? So it doesn't always go hand in hand, but our strength somewhat reflects our muscle mass. So if you want a certain amount of muscularity, your performance needs to reflect that. We can't be doing 100 kilos on an RDL if you're a male looking to compete, uh, unless like you're a oh, regardless if you're a teen, you probably want to be doing more than that. So yeah, you want to have that good foundation level of strength because if someone's got a strong hip hinge, they probably have well developed erectors, glutes, and hamstrings. If someone's got a strong dumbbell press, they've probably got a well developed chest. Yes, there's caveats to it. If someone's got a great leg press and squat and they take it as deep as they possibly can, probably have decent quads. So have you got that foundation level of strength to know when you get that body fat off, have you got the muscularity there to get lean and also to hold your own on stage? And obviously that will go back to have you performed some diets in the past. Also, we want to think about that, can we afford it? Competing's not just a case of, oh, we'll just you know what I mean, buy some chicken, buy some rice, you know what I mean, diet down, get some broccoli, green beans, and then, you know what I mean, get lean. There's a lot you need to pay for. So coaching, if you've not got a coach and you're prepping for the first time, probably should get a coach. The membership for your federation, and also a lot of, well, what I'd recommend you do if you're competing for the first time, you probably don't want to just do one show. You probably want to do multiple shows, and that might entail uh, carrying out different federations. So have you got enough money to pay for the different federations, which off the top of my head might be like £30 a pop? Coaching, obviously it can differ, but that's another decent expense. Show entry as well, another £30 at least, I'd say. You've got your gym membership, you've got your posing if you're getting posing lessons, but of course if you've got a coach, they will help with that. You've got your tan, which you can get at the venue, or you can, of course, tan yourself. Both are going to be expenses, of course. You've got your trunks or your heels and your bikini if you're a female that you need to pay for. You've got travel, so you've got the accommodation for Airbnbs for maybe 2 nights. You've got the train ticket down there and back, or flying there and back, or the petrol costs. Have you got the holidays from your work commitment? Have you got maybe food? You know what I mean? You need to buy a lot of food. You might be on a lot of blueberries at the end of prep. You know what I mean? When food's low and you need to get those micronutrients in, and you need to get that food volume in. So have you got enough money for the food, the supplements, the photos you'll want to buy of you on stage because you obviously want to document the process? That, and like I said, like, have you got the ability to get holidays from work? So it can easily like rack up. So I'd say like when I competed, it was at least like 250 a show. So if you are planning on competing, what I recommend you do is create like a wee savings pot, create like a wee monthly saver account, and just start adding money to it. So even if you're competing a year away, just add like £25 a month, £20 a month. So you've got some there, because part of a successful prep will be low stress. There's also why you're prepping. So are you doing it for the right reasons? And what I mean by that is, if you're going into it because you've seen, oh, he looks cool, look how much comments he's getting on his Instagram post, that looks exciting. Oh, he looks well, like, she looks well glammed up, or he looks well ripped, that's cool. That's not the right reasons to compete. Yes, you want to obviously like the look of things when you're competing, but what is it for? Is it for vanity? Is it for validation? Is it for photos? Is it to like prove someone else wrong? Or is it for your own self-development? Do you just love the process? Like, years before I competed, I just loved training. You know what I mean? I loved just going to the gym. It's what I'd done. You know what I mean? It was my choice, my kind of happy place sort of thing. So you want to truly love the process and love the training aspect of things. Because see, if you don't truly love the process and you're doing it for the wrong reasons, what's going to drive you when your legs feel like lead and you've got 5,000 steps to do? What's going to drive you when you need to get on the stairs for another 30 minutes when you can't be bothered, you're extremely tired? What's going to drive you when you need to go the majority of the day without having some carbohydrates that doesn't consist of a green bean? You're not going to be able to stay driven and on track. Your motivation and the drive, the external validity that people get is going to diminish. So why are you doing it in the first place? So you need to love the process and you need to be in it for the right reasons. And also, how are you from an emotional maturity point of view? Prep can affect things like your mood, your energy, and it just challenges your mental toughness as a whole. And also, like, it can be quite a burdensome on things like your social life, your relationship. So how are you from an emotional point of view? How resilient are you? And how do you react when you have done your cardio, you've done your steps, you trained as hard as you possibly can, you ate like a rabbit, and you step on the scales and the scale wakes up for whatever reason? How well can you maintain good, what's the word, good, how level headed can you be? How well can you stay on the straight and narrow and not let that affect your mindset? How resilient are you in those situations? Can you go through things? Can you hold yourself to a high standard with your work commitments, with your relationship, when you feel flat, tired, you're fatigued, like I touched on, and you've got all the same commitments to do? Because life doesn't go on hold for you. You know what I mean? You choose to prep. So if you want to prep, then you still got maybe kids to love, kids to play with, kids to help them with their homework. Or if you've not got kids, you've still got a partner that matters a lot, and a partner you need to make an effort with, and you can't just put their life on hold for 6 months because of it. You need to still be a supportive partner and be there for them and help. You still need to turn up for your job. They don't care if you're prepping. It's your choice, so you need to be able to handle that. And also, there's post show as well. Post show is a difficult time frame for a lot of individuals. It's a time where a lot of people can struggle because that goal then is gone. So how well can you stay on track when you've not got that goal of stepping on stage, when that's been taken away from you? Like, what happens after that? Because a lot of people, they can gain a lot of weight in a short period of time through a lack of routine, and a lack of accountability, and just like a lack of discipline. And also, I'm not trying to. It's just hard. It's hard, full stop. So I'm not I'm not taking away from anyone who does struggle post show, because it's a difficult period. I managed fine. Yeah, I was completely fine, to be fair. I executed at a high level and didn't dwindle at all in terms of my adherence. But a lot of people can struggle. So can you handle with seeing that body fat gain back? Can you reverse out properly? Have you got a good relationship with food before even considering prep? And can you? And also, when you step off stage, what are you gonna feel like about your placing? And that goes about to doing it for the right reasons. It's about your own self development. So are you gonna fall out of love with the process and absolutely hate bodybuilding and moan about on social media like a lot of people do when they don't place, or they struggle to adhere, or whatever? So yeah, have a think. because there's a lot of factors you want to bear in mind. Like I said, financially, if you're ready mentally, if you're ready physically, if you've done diets before, and also you want to make sure it's the right time to compete. So what I recommend is if you're thinking about competing, do so at a time when you've not got a holiday planned, when you've not got a wedding, when you've not got maybe your last year at uni, which is extremely challenging while working a lot of jobs, etc. So make sure you don't need to have nothing on, because that's not feasible, that's not possible. Life's not like that. Uh, and we instead want to just make sure it's like not the wrong time. It doesn't need to be the perfect time, but there is wrong times for sure. If you're moving house, probably don't want to compete. You know what I mean? They're probably going to be quite a big stress and interruption. So time it with a time frame that's going to be appropriate and right for yourself. And as for the benefits of competing, like I touched on halfway through it, I don't want to paint it to be just negatives, because there's a ton of positives that come with it. It's one of the best things you can ever do. It challenges your discipline. It challenges your your structure and time management. Because when you wake up and I knew I had 70 minutes of cardio to do, 15,000 steps, work, and then clients to get back to, and you know you've got to get done because you've got to be in stage condition, you find a way to get done, and then it just feels awesome. See, when you look back and think about how high a standard you maybe held yourself to while doing all your other commitments, while feeling like absolute trash at the end of it, it's a brilliant feeling. So it's very fulfilling, like being able to push yourself to that level that not a ton of people can do, and having that level of discipline is a amazing feeling, and it's just a brilliant challenge, really. But you want to be in it for the right reasons. There's tons of other challenges you can do, so it doesn't need to be contest bred. But hope you found this episode helpful, whoever is watching or listening to it. And if you did enjoy the episode, any support's massively appreciated. So share it on your Instagram story, drop me a tag, and also like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Drop a comment, or if you're listening to it on Apple or Spotify, then again, please subscribe and leave me a review. Any support's massively appreciated, and hope everyone has a great rest of their day.